Hello, everyone. It's time for the live stream on Thursday. I would like to welcome everyone who's watching the replay, as well as welcome everyone who's here. Already we have Holly. Welcome, Holly. Welcome, Ela. Welcome, Marie. I'm glad to see you guys here to join me. Peg will not be here today. She's not feeling well, and so she wanted to take the day off, which is perfectly fine now that I figured out how to run the live stream by myself. I'm so resistant to trying to learn new things. I think it's my age. I'm not sure. Welcome, Sybil. I'm glad people are rolling in to join me today. For today, we're going to be working on our art for the full moon for December. This is the last full moon piece that I'll be doing. I have been doing one every month for the named full moons, and I have a Facebook group for that, which I'm going to close at the end of the month because, you know, you can only really do it once. I mean, you've named them, you've made art inspired by them. Of course, I love the moon, and the full moon actually rose last night at 12:12. So it was kind of interesting, and that's on the east coast of the United States. So it's kind of interesting that it rose on 12:12 at 12:12, which I thought was kind of cool. I have my page ready, and I'm going to start here pretty soon. The stuff, I put stuff on my hands to protect, and it's like it's peeling off my skin and making these little flecks. It's really weird. So I'm trying not to get them on my page. I don't really want them on my page. And I did start a little bit of a drawing before when I was in the green room because I wanted to make sure to be able to get this done within an hour and a half. Hi, Rennie. Hi, Marilyn. I think that's everyone. Yeah. Hi. I did want to show you guys something before we start. Speaking of my full moon art, I made a calendar as a gift for a few friends, and I had it printed at Walmart. And it actually turned out really good, so I wanted to show it to you guys. It's not all full moon art, but there's a lot of my full moon art in here. There was a few that I didn't like as much, so I didn't do them. But I scanned them with my print and scan at 300 GSM. Is that right? No, DPI. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I did it. Dots per inch. Yeah, DPI. I did it at 300, and then I added some little quotes, and I thought it turned out really cool. That's one of my full moon pieces from this year. That one was digital background exchange, but it's the spring goddess, so I thought it was kind of cool. This is one of my full moon ones. That was one of my full moon ones. They turned out really nice and colorful and bright. That was something I did on the live stream at some point. And I did that one on the live stream, I think. This is the one that was in the magazine recently, the Somerset Studios magazine. I did this one for Stencil Girl, and it was in the magazine. But it's a moon, so. This was the one I did with pastels. That was the digital background exchange one. That was one of my full moons. And that was one of my full moons. And that one is a goat. That was one of my animal portraits this year. So I thought that was really interesting. If you guys would like one of these, you could email me at paperoktiostudio@gmail.com, and I would have to order it directly to your house. But I do still have all the stuff saved, so I don't know if you want one of those. And I don't know. I think they ended up costing like $15 or something, but they were on sale. So anyway, let's get started with my page. Let's see who else has rolled in first. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Jane. Good morning or afternoon or evening, everyone who's joining. This month is the full cold moon, and that was named by Native American tribes as being like, you know, it's cold right now. It's some of the coldest time. It's also the long night's moon because it's near the winter solstice, which is going to be on the 21st this year. So almost the longest night of the year. Also, for the pagan or Celtic tribes in Europe, they called it Moon Before Yule because Yule is the celebration of the return of the sun. So the longest night, and then the return of the sun's reborn. Another interesting thing that's going on, which will peak on December 13th, which I think is today. Yeah, today is the Geminid meteor shower. So if you guys are out looking at the moon, you should look for meteors. And I did see a ginormous meteor that I thought must have hit the Earth. I swear it was so big and lasted for so long, although still is only like, a partial second or whatever. But I was thinking if it's cold, where are you going to be? You're going to be inside. So I was thinking of looking out a window at the moon as opposed to being out in it, especially in places where it's so cold that you don't even want to go outside. So that was my idea. So I drew some lines with a ruler just to get me started here. And I think I'm going to do a combination of collage and acrylic painting. So I need to find my paint. This is kind of weird doing this by myself, but it should work out fine. I think I'm going to use these fluid. Whoa, things are falling off the desk. These Deco Art Media fluid paints is my idea, because I can kind of use them like a watercolor, and I think I'm going to use a water brush to do it. Does this one have any water in it? These are things you wonder. I find one of my artisan ones, maybe. Yeah, I think that's got water in it. I'll get a little wipe off, and I need some paint. So I want to make an interesting background here, probably in colors of blue, because I think I'm going to make this look kind of warm. So I'm going to have the contrast between the warm and the cool. Hi, Becky. Hi, Brenda. Just welcoming people that are coming. So let's look for some colors here. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. Oh, I do like this one. And we'll just put them out here on my nasty palette, just to give some little, that is, if they will come out of the bottle. That's always the tricky part. Come on. This one is not going to come out of the bottle. I guess it's done. Is this the same color? Nope. I guess I should have done a little bit more planning here, huh? We'll use this one. I like this one. Prussian blue. Add a little bit of Prussian blue. A little bit of primary cyan. And then we want to get some purpley. We're going to put a little bit of Quin Magenta over here to mix. And then maybe some dioxazine purple. That's a super dark color. And then I want some white for mixing. I don't know if there's anything left in here. Do we have another white? Got a medium gray. There's another white. I think this one's pretty much empty. Okay, so, and this one's not even open. That's why it's still full. Of course. Weird. All right, there's some white. So I want to do a pretty watery effect here for my sky outside. So let's just get a little bit of, man, I don't have anything that has water on it today. Let's get a little bit of water going here with a watercolor brush. So these are the panes of my windows. I don't know if you guys can see the lines. Yeah, you can. It looks like it anyway. So let's start there, and then let's get a little bit of a wet brush here. I don't like to put acrylic on my watercolor brushes because it freaks me out. It makes them all crunchy and nasty, and I don't like that, so I'm not going to do that. Let's get a little bit of swirl going on here. Hopefully I can talk through all of this and paint at the same time. Can I touch my nose and rub my tummy at the same time? I don't know. A little bit tricky sometimes. So this is the dark sky outside the window where the moon would be living at this point. I want to kind of keep my lines, but I'm going to collage over the top of that, so I'm not as worried about that. Let's get a little bit more water on my brush here. That's too dark. Too dark. I do want it to look like nighttime, of course, because you wouldn't see the moon most of the time. Well, you can sometimes see the moon during the day, but most of the time you're looking at it at night. So let's see, has anyone else come in? Nope, I don't see anyone else yet. I have to stop and look at my screen in order to see if anyone's joined us. I guess if this was the continuation of that, there'd be some of that purple color up there. Yes, yes, there would. I guess I want continuation across, you know, across the window would be continued. I think I've lost some of my wet here. I had water on this, but this isn't watercolor paper in this book. It's just Bristol. So this is the last page in this book, though, so it will be done and I can move on to a different book, which is kind of fun. It's always cool to finish an entire art journal and you're like, wow, I did something. I finished it. It's a pretty impressive feat, I think. Swirly, swirly. So what's everyone up to today? Is anyone playing along with the full moons? I don't think very many people are because there wasn't much action in that group this year. I guess people aren't as fascinated by it as I am. And how are your holiday preparations going? That's what I'm worried about right now because I'm traveling tomorrow. I'm going to go to California, and so I'm trying to get stuff ready for my trip. I'm taking presents to my family over there in California, and I need to have those things wrapped and ready and in my suitcase. None of that's done. In fact, I still haven't finished the art that was requested. Gonna have to do that after the show. Are you guys making things for your loved ones this year? Might be getting a little bit frosty down here by the window because it's cold outside. That's what it's supposed to be. Let's make some frost. And it's okay to be messy because I am gonna collage over this. So it's not that big of a deal if I make a little bit of a mess. around my edges. If I was actually painting this, I'd be in trouble. Maybe that's why I do mixed media. I can always fix things with another layer. I'll bet some of you feel me on that one. Barbara, I'm going to go to Santa Cruz. That's where my kid is. He's going to college to get his doctorate there. And his girlfriend is there with him. And so I'm bringing presents for them and both of them. But that's the kid that's always asking me for art. I texted him. I said, what is Santa Claus going to bring you this year? You know, because I'm Santa Claus, I guess. And he was like, oh, more of your priceless art, of course. Didn't ask for electronics, didn't ask for money or anything like that. Just wanted more art. Good kid. But then he gave me a specific challenge. He wants art inspired by the musician Buckethead. I don't know if you guys know who Buckethead is, but it's pretty obscure. So we'll see how I can get that done. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm running out of white. Got plenty of the other colors, but ran out of white. But I think that's pretty good. So there's my windows. I'm pretty happy with that. Put this aside so I don't put my arm in it. You know I would. It's absolutely what would happen. Actually, one more thing before I do that. I want to put some splatters because gotta have some, darn it, gotta have some stars, of course. There would be stars. Let's get a little bit of that going. Yes, Marie, he is sweet. He's a sweet guy. It makes me feel good about my ability to make art when he keeps requesting it. And he has walls. He up in his other apartment before he moved, he had just one wall. But this year when he moved to a new apartment in California, he really placed things around his apartment, their apartment, I guess I should say, in a very artistic and stylized way. So it looks really nice. He put the pieces together in kind of groups of things that went together. I'm going to have to dry this because I want those splatters to be dry. Let's see what people are saying while I'm drying this. Rennie says she's working on a cover for her Pick-a-Stick journal that she worked on this year. Beck says she's finishing up her Christmas cards. Barbara says she did one full moon piece this year. Holly says she can't get in the Christmas spirit. That's absolutely understandable. I've kind of just forced it. I've been forcing it, because I know I need to get things done, and I know that I want to make the holiday as special as I can, um, for a lot of reasons right now. So I really have been. I mean, we went all out. My two boys who live in town and I did Christmas lights outside. We put up the tree. We got all the homemade ornaments out and put those on. We really got an early start with everything, just to get everything going and done. And yeah, I've been working hard. Also, I knew I'm going out of town to go see the other boy, and so I knew things had to be done soon, and I want to make it as merry as possible. All right, let's do some collage. I've already cut some strips here because I wasn't sure how much time it would take to cut strips. I just used some papers that I had in this beast. Sybil says she has no Christmas spirit. It's hard. You know, a lot of years, I'm just like, Christmas is so much work. I mean, all you do is work. You bake, you wrap presents, you buy stuff, you stress over every little thing that you've got to do. And it really drains you sometimes. I really understand that because I've had that situation myself, pretty much every year. So this piece of paper that I'm using was sent to me. It's a piece of tissue paper, and I thought it would make kind of an interesting wall over here. Don't need all of it though. I'm going to cut a little bit of it off. I thought maybe it would look kind of like wallpaper, because what she did was she had some colors on the paper that look like they're sponged or brushed on, and then she took a gold paint pen and made concentric circles. And I've been kind of hoarding this piece of paper for a while, and I thought it would look really nice on this. So yeah, I went for it. And then these pieces that I cut, these strips that I cut, this is brayer paper. You know, when you're gel printing and you're rolling off the brayer to get the excess paint off, I always keep those, and sometimes they are the best. They're the coolest things I have sometimes. Just to see, you know, the patterns that form when you're not really paying attention. That's always cool to see what comes from you not paying attention, because we so intentionally do so much stuff in our art that when it's just a random and you don't even know what happened, that's kind of cool. I have some little excess pieces here that can go. I wanted interesting pattern and color. Collage is my favorite because all these papers that I collect give me interesting pattern and texture and shapes that show up without me necessarily doing it. That's why I like to collect this type of paper for myself, whether it's paper that got ink splattered on it, whether it's paper that is, you know, from gel printing, intentional gel printing, or whether unintentional pieces. I like to collect all that. Some people call it hoarding. I just call it my special collection. See, this one has these little lines in it where the brayer stopped. Oh, I should have cut that before I put. See if I can do it. It's going to be over the top, I think. Well, I'll just use an X-Acto knife later when I take the tape off. So there's the side pieces of the window. I think I had these ones for the little, wanted to make them a little bit lighter. But before I do that, I think I should add my moon. I'm not sure exactly how I want to add my moon. Maybe something like that. Like, so it's kind of peeking through two 2 thingamabobbers, and this is a piece of cardstock. It's pretty heavy, so I'm going to spritz it with some water to get it pliable. That breaks down the fibers in the paper and makes it more pliable so that you get a better adhesion. And then also a good thing is to put some matte medium. Of course, this is just Liquitex matte gel medium, my favorite collage glue. And I put that on the back and then kind of put it so that it's just peeking. It's just peeking through the other pane. And then get that all smoothed out with some nice brush power. The power of brushes. Dun dun dun. This brush has a lot of to it. So now that I'm looking at these strips I cut, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they'll work. So I just dragged out a folder of different papers stuffed in a folder and picked out some that I thought would work on my project. I didn't want you guys to have to sit and wait while I was pulling out papers either, because that would be boring. Boring. This is going pretty fast. Maybe I shouldn't have done so much pre-work. If I finish it, then we'll figure out what else I'm going to do today on the live stream. I don't know. I still have a lot of other stuff to do, though. Some drawing and painting. That's just a little bit over. Tricky, tricky. Oh, did I get you? Yes, I got you. All right. Let's see. Barbara's talking about having a whiskey garden. I'm not sure what that is. A whiskey garden. Whimsy garden, maybe? I'm not sure. I can't read the chat and work at the same time. It's too much. It's too hard for me. I also have a little area over here that I don't have any collage for that I'm going to have to figure out. I don't know if that water's going to help that piece. It's got paint on both sides. It means it's sealed on both sides. All right, I want that to go over a little. Just a little. At least today I had a plan. Last week on the live, and I think the week before too, I did not have a plan for what I was going to do. I just winged it. And it doesn't come out as nice when I do that. Things don't come out as nice. So this is the little, like, this has like a little shelf under the window that you can place things on. And we're going to place something on it. I don't know what yet. Something. Huh, I managed to get that one cut pretty well. That's a piece of deli paper, so it's kind of lightweight, which makes it tricky to cut. Easier on a guillotine cutter than on the type of cutter that I was using, which is kind of like a, I don't know what you call that, slide cutter. Some type of a slide cutter. Barbara says her reputation will never be the same because I said she had a whiskey garden. I don't know. That's what it said. It wasn't me. It was her spell check. There's nothing wrong with whiskey. It's a very popular thing, and especially in some southern states like Kentucky. Man, they love their whiskey down there. Put it in all their food when they're baking. Bourbon this and bourbon that. Probably people making bourbon balls right now for Christmas. That's a thing. With your Kentucky bourbon. All right, so I'm going to need a little piece over here of this, and it's going to have to be very skinny. Very, very, very skinny. So let's try to cut it with scissors. Let's see if we make it. It looks like it tapers slightly because my lines weren't exactly straight, which is fine with me. I don't care if my lines aren't exactly straight. It gives it character, right? Character is good. Gives it a hand-done touch when things aren't exactly perfect. I think I did it. Gotcha. You little beasties. This is pretty cool paper. I'm going to have to stop hoarding it and start using it on something else. I've still got all this of it left. It's cool. It's just one of those things like I don't want to use it. It's too cool. All right. Let's start working on our moon. This moon just has a base, but it's going to need some more something, like some more paper to make it look more like a moon. And then, of course, there has to be something else besides the moon out there. Like, I don't know what. But let's work on the moon first. Gotta get some papers. Color box, where are you? I'm gonna need browns and yellows and browns and maybe some tea stain paper. That ought to be good. I don't know. Do I need that? Maybe. Maybe. I need some of this. That's pretty interesting. This is a tea bag that's been gel printed on. It's kind of interesting stuff. We can get a little bit of something with that. Start working on the moon. The moon is the important thing on this page, right? Since it's supposed to be about the moon. Whoops. What else do I have here? I guess you guys can't really see what I'm looking in. This is one of my color boxes. It's just little bits of paper sorted by color, like you do, or like I do anyway. Got to make all these, you know, things on the moon. Maybe a little bit more reddish color. And then we're going to go for some of these lighter colors. Like this one has some interesting pattern. That's what I like, pattern. Shape and pattern is interesting to me. And we're going to need to put that one really bright spot on the moon. Over here, maybe a couple other bright spots. That one's already kind of got a natural bright spot, but yeah. Yes, that would be a yes. These are plastic boxes that cinnamon rolls, mini cinnamon rolls come in at our local Fry's store. And my mom was really loving those cinnamon rolls, and she was saving all those plastics for me. She saves all kinds of things like jelly jars and plastic containers. She just likes to recycle stuff. So she was saving them for me to use to sort my paper, and that's what I did. I kind of need to turn that so that it's more of a spot. Some of this stuff is already kind of glued down on its own because I guess this moon was kind of wet when I started laying my papers over it. I started auditioning them. It was already wet. No, you're not supposed to do that. You stay off of there. Don't back talk to me, mister. Mr. Moon. Now what happened to that light colored piece I had? Ah, there you are. Up there. Stuck to my thumb. Darn it. Okay. Moon's looking pretty moony. Might need just a little bit of filler. Where is that tea bag? These are tea bags. And I dump the tea out and save the bags to use because these are really thin and kind of fluffy, and they make really great blender pieces. Like if this is too harsh right here, these lines are too harsh, I can put a piece of filler over the top of it like this, and the lines are still there, but they're calmed down. That's what I like to use this tea paper for. And it has some pattern itself because of the tea being on there. So I think it smooths lines, adds a little bit of warm color. Of course, if you're doing something in, you want to keep in cooler tones, the tea bag is not your friend because it warms everything up. But you see how it doesn't take away, it just soothes and calms. And if it's still a little bit too harsh, you can put a second piece on top. It's like blending. It's like paper painting blending. You could do this with, paint and a brush in the same type of a way, but it's blending it. So I drink a lot of tea, and I just, down on my island downstairs, there's this stack of tea bags that needs to be Always there's a stack of tea bags that needs to be emptied. In fact, this is tea right here. I drink milk in my tea. Always, always need to be emptying tea. It's messy too. You try to empty it into the trash and it goes, you know, it goes on its own way and does crazy stuff and flies everywhere in the kitchen, and then you have to get out the vacuum cleaner and clean it up. Okay, that's the main stuff. Now, I was thinking, should I either paint or should I shadow first or should I paint first? What should I do? That's the question. Maybe I'll just give this a good dry. So as far as paper organization goes, yes, the little pieces go in the plastic boxes, but I also have a lot of these type of these things that you can tie shut, except for I never tie them shut. And these have more like full pieces of paper, like when I gel print, and I can just flip through them. They're like kind of like plastic files, and I can flip through them to find, you know, something larger. And I'm just looking to see what people said. Somebody asked me a question. Sybil, which paper are you talking about? This one with the swirls or the circles? I don't know. I didn't make that one. That one was sent to me by a viewer. Haven't actually heard from that particular person in a long time. Maybe she was mad that I was hoarding her paper and she decided she if her paper wasn't going to come on, she wasn't going to watch my channel anymore. I don't know. This is getting pretty dry. Okay, what shall I do next? So I was thinking, one thing that's really bothering me is I need it darker. It needs to be darker down here and right here, because you can't tell this is a shelf because it's not. Yeah. How should I fix that? Should I paint? Should I paper more? What should I do? Glaze? Decisions, decisions, decisions. Let's see if I can find something. Dark color. Don't seem to have a dark brown in this paint. That's the darkest thing I've got. That's not dark. So we might have to switch to a different paint. Although I do love that color. Quinacridone Gold is such an awesome color. Nope. That's not working for me. Let's see. What should I do? What should I do? Maybe no. Decisions. I have this burnt umber in this brand of paint. And it's getting needs to be thrown in the trash because it's all blotchy. But if I put a little bit of this black with it, just a touch. Well, that was way more than I needed. Now I've got all kinds of paint here that's getting wasted. Terrible. Where's my water brush? The lid to my water brush just went flying. So if I mix a little bit of this brown and black and just kind of brush it on down here, I can make this a little bit darker and a little bit blendy. It kind of works. Trying to go straight. Straight would be nice. Blend it out a little bit. And then that gives you that shelf look. And then I'll do the same thing right here. It's kind of like a glaze because I'm using a water brush, so I'm getting a lot of water in with the paint. Blendy, 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 blendy. That's what sound blends make, right? Now that looks more like what I was wanting, but I also want a little bit of highlight as well. So if I take some white and I mix it with that brown, that same brown, I can add a little bit. Nah, that's not light enough. I can add a little bit of highlight over here too. Blendy, 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 blendy. I don't have very much white. Just to get a little bit of light. Because if the light, you know, it would be more yellow than that. That's when the quinacridone gold comes in, right? It would be a little bit more, because the moon is shining into the window, and Holly agrees. Blendy, 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 blendy. That's what sound it makes. So if I mix this wonderful, wonderful quinacridone gold, if you don't have this color, you should get it. What a great color. It's not gold, it's not rust, it's not red, it's just kind of this, I don't know, it's not orange. It's just an awesomest color ever. It warms things. Warmy, warmy, warmy things. Blendy, 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 blendy. Okay, now that's starting to look dimensional, right? That's better. Then I want to do the same sort of thing, just a little bit. Let's get some water in there. It's nice. Water brushes are awesome because you can just squeeze the center and out comes the water. You don't have to dip. That's why I love water brushes, because my water is all the way over and I'd have to just do this whole, move my hand over there and all that, and I would just be grumpy. This one's running out of water though, of course. Of course it would, right? Blendy, 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 blendy. This is detailing. This is just getting a little bit fussy about stuff. Because you can. Just want this to look dimensional. I could also do this by using paper and adding more bits of paper. I just figured I've got the paint, I might as well use it. This is going to be darker over here a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe bring in some of that quinacridone when I do it up here. Oh, darn it. No water in my brush. It needs the water. Okay, that's making me feel a little bit better. Need a line right there of demarcation to show that there's a difference between this piece and that piece. I'll even add a little bit of a highlight there just to show that they're not the same. Okay, I'm pretty happy with my little, I'm not quite happy with this right here though. It's gotten too light right there. There. It looks like a window frame now. I might need just a touch of white. Where did that white go? Come out. There you go. These paints are good to the last drop, I tell you. You don't want to waste these Deco Art Media paints. Don't want to waste them. Going to give a really pretty strong highlight right here, just to make it look like the moon is coming in. And also pretty strong right here. With a little bit of shadow right there. Right there. Thank you, Barbara. This is 100% how I work. I also speak to myself. Even when it's just me in my room, I speak to myself. Sometimes people will come into my studio and they'll be like, who are you talking to? Somebody on the Skype or something? I'm like, no, it's just me. It's just me talking. All right. I think that looks pretty good. So we need to populate the inside and we need to populate the outside. Which time do we have left? It is 10:21. So about a half an hour, that's enough time. So I'm figuring that probably in this scene, there is maybe just a few little, just a touch of mountains back here. Because if I was looking out the window, that's what I would have. Oh, I just distracted myself, sorry. I need a little water while I'm messing around with shadows and highlights. We need a little bit of exterior shadow around this moon to make it look as if it is not just glued on there, especially because this is like, you know, some pretty intense cardstock weight paper. It's thick. I do need to put a shadow around it to make it blend more into the page. Otherwise, it just looks like a sticker. Like you stuck a sticker on there, and that's not cool. I don't like that. So just add a little bit of painty shadow using that same darker Prussian blue that I had earlier. Just makes it look more something something. And then if I'm going to do that, I should do that along here too. Just a little bit. There's a little bit of shadow there that somehow disappeared. I don't know. Maybe I should focus on what's inside the house at this point rather than what's outside. Maybe you would be looking up and you wouldn't really see much in the way of I don't know. What am I thinking? Maybe think I'm gonna need some type of a silvery blue color here real quick, something like this maybe. And I'm just gonna cut. Oh, maybe there is something sitting, some things sitting on the bench here. I think that's probably what happens. What kind of color do I have? I don't know if I'm going to get out some more stuff. So sometimes you might have maybe something cooling on the windowsill, you know. Might have something like this cooling on the windowsill, maybe. I'm going to need a little bit of something here. Just winging it now. Now we're winging it. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Can y'all tell what that is, cooling on the windowsill? Bye-bye, Sybil. She has to go back to work, poor thing. She never gets to see the whole show. She always has to go back to work. Where's my other? There it is. You guys are right. It's pie. I don't know if it's apple or pumpkin. We had a couple different opinions there. Have to make a few of these soon. Also, there might be something like, do I have any red? Let's see what I have out here. Might be something sitting here like that. This is thick paper. Oh, and it's not. It's not gonna get loosened up either because it's got paint on both sides. Sit down, you. All right, I need a darker red. Some sort of something darker. I don't know about that. Looks like I need to sort in some more stuff here. I made it too short, dang it. This is what people sound like when they talk with brushes in their mouth. Oh, I can fix that. All right. Put all that red back in there. What else? I need three things. I need something else. I don't know. We'll think about it. But I gotta finish this thought first. Let's get a little bit of shadow going under here, like you do. Stop it. I guess I should be looking and seeing what people are saying. Just talking about the pie still. Pumpkin or apple, not sure. Blendy, 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 blendy. Okay, and then of course there would be some of that over here too, under the pot, which I'm gonna fix up here in a minute. It's actually a pretty decent color for shading. And it's got to have some of this in it. I wonder if I have any water I could put in this. It's driving me crazy. Oh, it might be cherry pie. And there might be a kitty on the windowsill. There wouldn't be a kitty on the windowsill at my house because I'm allergic to them. But I do want to get a puppy, and I have not been able to find a dog to adopt. Every time I apply, I don't get selected, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying to get, a shelter. I don't want to encourage puppy breeding. I want to get a shelter dog, but I have to get one that's hypoallergenic, like a Maltese or a poodle or something like that. And every time I apply to these shelters, I just don't get selected. I don't know why. I guess they don't like me. They don't think I'm the right person for the dog. So I'll keep trying after Christmas. It could be that there's just a lot of people trying to get dogs at Christmas. Maybe it could be it. Like his gifts or whatever. I don't know. That's possible. So Rennie, up there in Phoenix, if you see someone who has poodle or Maltese Terrier or Alpin Pinscher or something like that, a dog that they want to get rid of, let me know, because I'll drive up there and pick it up. If she's still here. I know Rennie was here earlier. Some of the shelters that I've applied for have been up in the Phoenix area. I don't know. And then they say, well, if you'll foster, you'll be guaranteed to get an animal. But since I have like specific needs of being able to breathe around the dog, you know, I'm not sure I want to. I mean, I would foster if I thought that there was. I think I'm too fussy. Maybe that's what it is. I have to have some specific needs, and they just don't like that. Maybe I don't know. All right, we need some green. Yep. We're gonna have to get some more paint. How much time do we have? 20 minutes, maybe. Need some different greens here. Let's get some green gold. Thank you, Holly. I didn't realize you lived so close. Please do keep an eye out for me. Get some phthalo. Get some. What other green do I have? I have blue, green, light. If it's a, I guess the pine tree, I guess it could be that. And anything else? I wish that Payne's Gray wasn't empty. That's sad. I have to order some. Viridian. Viridian's a nice color. And let's get a bit smaller tip brush. Oh, not that one. Is this a smaller tipped one? Yep. All right. Let's start with this one to start out with. This is the sound that pine needles make. Right? Sure, Shel. You just go with that. I'm sure you make perfect sense. I haven't tried the Humane Society yet, and here is why. I fully support what they're doing, but when I go to the Humane Society, I leave there crying. And I just feel so sad that I can't take every single cat and dog and bunny and everything. It is really emotionally overwhelming for me to go to the Humane Society. So I've been trying these like smaller no-kill shelters around, and there's a lot of them. But they have a smaller population, and I don't. Also, they foster, so I feel like I can meet the animal in an environment that is not going to overwhelm me, because I can't stand going to the Humane Society. It's so sad. I know I can't have all those animals because I'm allergic to 90% of them, and I certainly can't take my young son with me because he'll adopt every cat in the universe, and then he'll be like the crazy cat man because he loves cats. He already has 2 that he rescued, and he'll adopt 20 more. So I don't know if I'm the only one that has that problem with the Humane Society, but wow, I freak out. All those poor animals, so sad. I guess I'm a sap. Hi, Marianne. I don't think I welcomed you to the show. I didn't see you come in. Did you sneak? Sneaky, sneaky. Yes, I figure for the cold moon it would be a little mini live Christmas tree because, you know, December. Do you guys get live trees or do you have artificial ones? We always buy a live tree every year because we like the smell. And the artificial ones don't smell as good. And I justify it by saying, well, you know, it's already cut. It's not like I killed the tree. Someone already did it. I'm just, you know, how we self-justify. The sad thing about the live trees is that they get dry so fast, especially here in Arizona. They dry up so fast. We're constantly trying to give it more water and trying to, you know, make it live as long as possible. The fact is, it's not living anymore. And they suck up water for a few days and then they stop. And all the pine needles start falling down. But it still smells good. It smells like Christmas. All right, let's go for a little bit of this green gold. Put a layer of those on. I'm probably wasting a lot of time. Might not finish this page before time runs out because it takes a long time to put little petals or little pine needles on things. A few little highlights on there. After this, I've got to make Buckethead art. If you guys don't know who Buckethead is, you should look him up. Amazing, amazing musician. Also very eccentric, which is kind of fun. He's made tons of albums. He makes them himself, records them himself, and it's there isn't any words. It's all guitar, but it's just there's some really beautiful ones. Very relaxing There's some very, very relaxing music that he makes using electric guitar. But I'm not sure how I'm going to make art inspired by Buckethead. The kid likes to give me challenges. Oh, I'm running out of time. Running out of time. At least I feel like I'm running out of time. Maybe I'm really not. Never did use any of those other paints. Apparently the kid does know I like a challenge. First he just said he needed more of my priceless art. Then he followed up the text by saying, "Oh, art inspired by Buckethead." Like, okay. He also got my mom into listening to Buckethead. He made some playlists and downloaded them onto her device for her that's like relaxing Buckethead music. So now she's like into it too, which is kind of funny. Like, no, me mom, you would like it. Are you sure? Yes, yes, you would like it. Look him up, Holly. You'd be like, huh, this is some good music, but this guy's kind of weird. Because nobody really knows who he is because he wears a bucket on his head and a mask on his face. So he's obviously an introvert like me. He doesn't want people to really know who he is, you know. But he also wants to share his art and his love of music. And so he gets on stage in a mask and a bucket. He started out being a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket. And then I think now he just has like a custom made something. But at the beginning, it was a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket. All right, let's take the tape off and see how this looks. Because I think I'm getting to be a little bit out of time. Oh, shoot. Stupid tape. No, don't tear that off. No. I do need one more thing down here, but it's probably not going to happen on the show. Probably happen after the fact when I figure out what it is. I think. Oh, tape is tearing everything. All right. I think that I did what I wanted to do pretty much. Probably need a little bit more shadows and highlights, you know. Like up here, there needs to be a shadow. Or maybe a highlight to some light. To make it just a little bit more interesting. Yeah, not bad. Not bad for winging it. Well, not winging it as bad as usual, but some of it was winged. Some of it I did plan. Full cold moon. What time? Okay, so I've got time to talk. If anybody has any questions or comments that I need to answer. Anyone? Hi, Ela. Bye, Ela. Yeah, I might put a cat here, maybe. I don't know. People want a cat looking out the window. Cats do look out windows for sure. My best friend has 2 cats, and all those cats do is sit there on her windowsill and watch the birds. That's what they do. She even bought him like a little shelf thing that that widens out the windowsill, because the both of them were trying to get themselves just like they're like crowding themselves onto the windowsill so they could watch the birds. So she bought this thing that you attach with heavy duty Velcro onto the windowsill, and it's like a shelf for them to sit on so that they don't hurt themselves trying to jam on there. The bigger they get, the more they are doing that. It's not really the right color. That's kind of the right color, but just wanted to fill in a little bit over here, doing that fussing thing that I do. Just fill it in a little bit. Just because that's how it would be. Yep. Pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Well, that's a good idea. I could put a star running up against the pot. Let's see, what would it look like? It would be like that. like an ornament. That's a good idea. Thank you. So that side would be slightly smaller. This side in the foreground would be slightly larger. And I can use, well, I'll probably use some white paint to start out with just to make it bright enough. Where did my pen go? Just to make it bright before I put a color on. Because there's still a little bit of white, just a touch of nice white left on my palette. I could have also made this out of paper. Would have probably been smart. But the paint was already there, so if I don't like it after it's painted, I'll put some paper over the top. Now I need something like that. Put this color on. And mix a little bit of that in with that to do this side. Make a little bit of shadow. Shadow right there. And then lighter, 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 lighter. I think I need some metallic. Where's the metallic? Just a little bit of metallic. Just keep getting this weird area right there. Needs to dry a little. And then we need a dark shadow under here. Where the dark shadow lives. And I need that mixed with that. Mixed with all of that. A little bit of that. A little bit on the dark side. Thank you, Marianne. I agree. It needed another element, and I just was at a loss. So I'm glad you guys were here to help me figure it out. All right, I'm happy with that. Maybe add a little bit of this gold up into my moon so that we have the color all the way through, just to make it more interesting. When all else fails, get out your finger. All right, I think I am done for today for this project. Thanks everyone for joining me, and I'm glad you guys are here to help me out with my project for the full moon. This will be the last full moon in December and the year in 2020. And if you haven't seen it yet, go out and look at it tonight. It'll be full, and there will be meteors too. So that's pretty cool. Yes, thank you, Becky. Give the video a thumbs up, or leave me a comment or question if you would like to. There'll probably be a speed up on my channel later for those of you who like to watch it speedy. You're probably not here if you like to watch it speedy. So thank you, Holly and Marie and Becky. Yeah, everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I'm going to travel, so I'll see you guys when I get back. Bye-bye for now. I said end the broadcast. Are you going to end the broadcast? Yes, end the broadcast.